Okay, so we took notes on physical and chemical properties. Now we are going to talk about changes. And changes can be physical or chemical. Let's begin our notes. Now, physical and chemical changes. Let's begin with physical. What is a physical change? A physical change is anything that changes appearance, shape, form, but it is exactly the same substance before and after the change happened. So an example that you can see over here on the left is paper being torn. So tearing paper, when you tear it, you have a different shape of what the paper used to look like, but it is still paper. You can also tear this into 5,000 little pieces and it will look very different, but it will still be paper. You could even take this paper and put it into water and let it become this mush, and it will still be paper. It's just in water. Now, when you break a glass, it used to look like this, and then as it breaks down, it becomes smaller and smaller pieces, and now it's just sitting on the floor. It's still glass. This is a physical change because it changes the shape, it changes the form, but it is still glass. The last example of a physical change is ice cream. When ice cream comes out of the freezer, it's hard and you can mold it and it will stay its shape, except for when it starts to melt. Now when you notice it, it's liquid and it starts to slide all over the place. Is it still ice cream? Yes, it is still ice cream. And you could even take the melted ice cream and put it back in the freezer and make it hard, and it is still ice cream. It might look different than before, but it is still ice cream. The second change that we can have for reactions or for objects or substances is called a chemical change. A chemical change is a change that produces something new. So if you did not see that there before, then you have a chemical change. For example, when you burn something, like this piece of wood, you are going to notice that it gives off smoke, which was not there before, and it will also create the ashes or the charcoal after the wood burns down. This is something new. Because it is something new and it's different, it is a chemical change. When iron metal reacts with oxygen, it creates something we call rust. I believe in Spanish they say oxidado. And over here you see a nail, and usually most metals react with the water in the air, or water, and it actually reacts with the oxygen in the water in order to create this orange stuff we call rust. This is something new that was not there before, and therefore it is called a chemical change because we produce this new orange stuff. Whenever you have a reaction in a solution, and a solution is any kind of liquid, you have a chemical change. A reaction can be anything from gas being produced, like the bubbles in this example over here. You see the tablets giving off a lot of bubbles, and those bubbles are something that is new because of the reaction with the liquid and the substance that it's being put in, or that is being put into the liquid. Over here we have a liquid with a metal wire put in, and all of a sudden notice that there is this new substance that is appearing. This is a good example of something new being formed, which therefore means that you know that this is a chemical change. So, a chemical change is anything that produces something new. Now, looking over here, we have cigarettes. And when you buy cigarettes, they look like this. And let's say that before they were burned, they weighed 1.2 grams. After they were burned and you took whatever was left of the cigarette, it weighed 8.8 grams. So the question is, cigarette ashes weigh less than the cigarette. Where did the missing mass go? Where did it go? Did it disappear? I hope you don't think so. So the missing mass goes somewhere else. It's in your body. It's in the smoke. It's in the air. Okay? This is definitely a chemical reaction because we're producing ashes which were not here before. And it's also producing smoke which was not there before. So this is a chemical reaction, a chemical change. However, the missing mass went somewhere. We call this the law of conservation of mass. Now, what is that? It states that mass cannot be created or destroyed, but it only changes shape. It can look different, but it did not disappear. You cannot create something out of nothing, and you cannot destroy something. So for example, we have down here that we had 1.2 grams of cigarettes. And what that produced was 0.8 grams of ashes. And the 0.4 became something else. The 0.4 was either smoke, gas, but it could not be destroyed. It does not just become nothing. Okay, so everything stays in this universe. Everything that we began with is here, will always be here. We cannot create more. We cannot have more stuff than we have, and we cannot have less than what we are. Not just make stuff disappear. So, sorry, magicians. Everything stays here that began here. So now that we have learned about physical and chemical changes, some examples of physical changes and chemical changes, and we also learned that nothing, no mass can be created or destroyed, I would like for you to do the handout that will be given to you, and please feel free to watch this video over again if you need some clarification, or if you're confused about anything, or if you just want to review a little bit more.